to. Oh, fucking shut up. God, I hate when it does that. Hold on, I'm trying to record.
Gotcha.
I've been trying something new. We are
Go ahead.
recording, so for everybody
Yeah,
listening, here with Mr.
yeah.
Joseph Ted but I'm trying a new recording thing. So
Don't you love technology, dude?
not really. I don't
I
know
don't
what I'm.
either.
I don't know what I'm doing with it, but I'm trying to. And okay, I'm gonna
Yeah, I
try
see a
recording
recording
that.
thing up in the corner.
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah,
I
yeah.
see it.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying a new fucking setup to try. I have no
No
idea
worries.
what I'm doing. Everybody knows him, knows Mr. Joseph Tedai,
What's
author
up,
of
guys?
Lone Operator, total stud. As I've
Oh,
said before, I don't like having him on because girls will reach out to me and I think I'm getting some play and they're like, "Who the fuck was that guy?" And I'm like, "Fuck off." I'm like, "Read his book. He said when he was younger he was a runt." And they're like, "He's not a runt now." And I'm like, "Geez, why do I even have you
that's
on?"
classic.
But
That's
but
classic, dude.
I know. Everybody knows you.
What's up, man?
You and Dale often come on together. The unit you guys worked in, obviously, it's super sexy secret. But we've gotten a lone operator a couple chapters before. Joe and I haven't talked in a bit, but I am with my buddy, our mutual friend, officially doing your wet sea course in August. I've been telling some of
Yeah,
my friends about it. Full disclosure, hand over my heart, swear over the fucking grave of everyone I love.
yeah.
I have no financial interest in this. I get nothing from this. I have to pay for it. There is no kickbacks I get. I just don't want to be someone
I am
shilling
giving you guys a
something.
smoking deal
Yeah,
because you're friends.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
I
but
just want you guys to show up because you have a good time, dude.
yeah. But I just want everyone to know that I
Right.
don't get anything from it. But Joe, explain it because I'm trying to get some of my friends to go. I'm already going with
Yeah,
two of my friends. I'm trying to get some more go. But I think it would be cool if you explained what it is and
sure.
as much as you'd like to. I know
Yeah.
it. Yeah, but take it away, Joe.
So I guess the first thing is that I wanted to do this. Let me think. I don't know, like in maybe 2016 or 17, but I don't know. I just didn't. The way the course is, the subject matter that we actually go over, um, at that time, I just didn't feel people needed to know those skill sets. And full disclosure, for those of you watching, I don't teach anything that's classified or TTPs that are being used by where I used to work and other organizations. These are not, this is open source stuff or stuff that I've actually put together based on my experience. Like, hey, I kind of like this and I kind of like this, and I took this and took that and made my own based on my experiences. But I just wanted, before anybody gets their panties in the water, it's teaching classified. Shut your pie hole. I'm not. Okay. So get over it. I'm not doing it. And there's guys out there, that's the first thing they're going to say. And that's not the case. I'm not going to put anybody at risk. Never have, not even in my book. I have a moral and legal and ethical obligation to protect those that are still protecting us. With that said, so I kind of blew it off, man. I just didn't feel the need. Then come circa 2020, Trump out of office and the situation our country is in right now. I felt, I really felt like this is something I want to do right now. I thought the timing was right. And, it took me about 6 months to put the syllabus together. And it's a very unique course in the fact that it's 3 days. Um, you stay at the location, which I'm not going to, that's actually like a sensitive place. I mean, I'm not going to, unless you're coming to the course, which you guys know where it's at. It's not something I put out there, but it's a sealed location, 1,000-acre location, beautiful, has everything we need to train the way we need to train. But I didn't want it to be a shooting course, and I didn't want it to be a carbine and pistol. Everybody's team. I wanted something that had a little bit of everything in it, where I could give an individual a base foundation of solid fundamentals, because everything's built on fundamentals, right?
Mhm.
Brilliance in the basics, right? And so I originally started with like 30 subject matter, and that was too much to cram into 3 days. Now I will tell you, for those who are listening, these are long days. You're looking at 14, 16 hours a day. It's a lot. I'm stuffing 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag. But when you leave, you're going to have a lot of knowledge.
Hell yeah.
Good baseline. And so I narrowed it down to 20 different subjects. And yes, carbine is in it and pistols in it. And for insurance reasons, for other reasons, I'm using airsoft guns. But these airsoft guns, Tom, are like mil spec.
Yeah.
If I took one of my guns right now and showed you up against a real Glock 17, you would not be able to tell the difference. The slide moves and everything.
Yeah, you showed me the weight distribution. It's
Dude.
creepy. Yeah.
And it actually has a signature. When you make videos and you hear that, it actually sounds like you're firing a weapon. Of course, the recoil is not quite there, but the slide's moving. You can reload, so you can get it all done. You can do all the 7 fundamentals. Same with the carbines, all metal frame. They weigh the same. I've got red dot sights on them, so they're badass. I paid a couple bucks for these things, but I wanted the students to have the best experience, not some plastic airsoft gun that costs, $150 that don't weigh anything. These are metal uppers and metal lowers.
Okay.
And I will tell you, brother, I was shooting the other day in my backyard at 50 yards. Granted, if the wind's honking, but at 50 yards, dude, it's as accurate as a real gun.
Jesus.
And what's really cool, Tom, is you can put a spin on the BB, right? There's an adjustment, actually puts a forward and backward spin on it that will actually make it more accurate.
You can rifle it, or
dude, it's pretty. So these are like state-of-the-art guns. So there's some carbine, there's some pistol. We get into land navigation, how to build a bug-out bag, apprehension avoidance, hostage survival, leadership. There's a lot of good stuff in it. And so I decided to do it, man. I ran my first class, probably, as a matter of fact, I know when I ran it in October because I froze the students out in the lake. The water was 48 degrees. And there's I'm not going to tell you, but there's a thing you're going to do. Obviously, you're not going to freeze in August, but it was bitter cold. I got in the water, and in about 10 minutes, you were shivering uncontrollably. It was cold.
Well, at the very least, if I die, it'll be a great end to the podcast.
That's right.
It'll be a beautiful end to it. That's what I remember you explaining that to me. So it's in layman's terms, it's not what it was when you and Dale came up and hung out with a mutual friend of ours where there was barbecue and drinking and shooting. It's not that. It's going to be, I think you explained this to me. You're like, this is the workout where you go to the gym and you're on a time crunch. It's not where people come up and they're like, what's up, dude? What's going on? That's the way you explain it to me. You were like, this isn't a camping trip. This is time ends. Time ends. This is like an SAT course. This is you're doing X, Y, and Z. Is that just to fit the 10 pounds of shit in the 5-pound bag, or does that also just play, or in addition, does it play into or does it establish the atmosphere of that's what this is? There's no time to sit around with our hands on our dicks.
It's both. I have it down to the minute, like literally travel times from lodging to the classroom.
Fuck yeah.
Like you got 5 minutes. It's because there's so much stuff, and it's for control purposes as well. Yeah. When you teach a class like this on a huge facility, and you're sleeping in one place, and a classroom is in another place, and the range is in another place, people need to be responsible. Because what I tell people when you arrive, when I say the class starts for the land navigation module at 2:30, the class starts. Yeah. Big boy rules apply. If you got to make a phone call, then that's your opportunity. But I'm just telling you, I am very disciplined with the time. And I learned that my first class, of course, first time you do anything, there's going to be hiccups, right?
Absolutely.
And so I had literally like 15 pages of notes of like things I needed to do better, things I needed to change, things I did well. But I noticed when guys start dragging ass and from lunch and stuff, if you add that up at the end of the day, you eat up an hour.
Absolutely.
Like that, an hour of training. And dude, that's not, an hour's an hour. So very disciplined. And that adds stress to the course too. You have so much time to eat, you're not here camping. But what I do want to tell people that are listening is this is not a boot camp. Like I'm sure you all have seen these, other courses, not going to mention them, that all you see is I'm running around carrying logs and getting smoked and getting dunked in water, and they're on the beach, and that's all fine and dandy. And I can do that. It doesn't take a lot to beat somebody up. Give me some water, some sand, some heavy logs, and I can smoke your ass, right? But that's not what this is about, because when I look at those courses, they're great for the individual. But what I want is when you leave, you can take this knowledge back to your family and say, here's what I learned. Those that graduate from the course, you'll have access to a closed Facebook page that has a 218-page manual in it that I put together that has everything in it. But those are only for the graduates. So it's not one of these smoke fests and like, hey, here's my certificate and I survived this, 5-day, smoke fest. And nothing against those. I just didn't want to go in that direction.
Yeah.
I thought what was more valuable for the investment that the client is going to make is to teach you something that you can teach your family, right?
Well, it's I would expect nothing less of you, if it was, and again, it's not, like Don the Pleb, military vet. I have some of my other buddies who haven't been on the podcast. Yeah, I'm sure that they could beat me up. I could. Anyone can do a podcast a day. Like you could do a not that this isn't the same at all, but anyone could do a podcast a day. You do 5 hours. That doesn't mean it's 5 times better. You have to find good guests. You got to be prepped for it. You got to be awake and ready. You got to have points, no dead air, blah, blah, blah. So it's not just about, you beat the shit out. Like you and Dale could have me running in circles until I'm vomiting. Sure. What am I learning from that? Don't hang out with Dale and Joe. Like that's what I'm learning from it. It's versus I expect nothing less than someone that worked in the field and at the echelon that you and Dale did. Yeah, I would expect something that's condensed, that's minimal with maximum efficacy. That's exactly what I expect from someone like you.
And it is. Trust me, man. I went around and around and around with like, here's my manual. This I was working on again. Like this is what I train off of. This is the instructor manual, and it's already gone through. Good Lord, dude. I don't know. I mean, if you can see, this is notes and just there's all kinds of just new things that make the course better. And it morphs just like anything else. You get better from doing it. But I just wanted to take out that piece of the physical piece of it because it eats too much time, right? Then I thought, well, maybe I'll just smoke people for half the day and then I'll teach them. Well, then they're going to be in the classroom like this. Yeah. You start doing sleep deprivation and just beating people down physically. They're not taking in what you're teaching them. And that's the whole point. This is a learning course. If you want to go to a smoke fest, look, there's plenty of them out there, have at it.
Go enlist.
Yeah. Or go enlist. And I'm telling you, I've seen these other smoke fest, companies. Let me tell you, they charge out the ass. They're literally triple the price of what I'm charging.
Jesus Christ.
Triple. I saw one, and I'm not gonna mention the name of it. I literally had to call and say, is this a misprint on your website? And they said no. They were charging $12,000 a person for a 3-day course.
If you can do it, go for it. But yeah, it seems like it. I'm very interested because someone like myself who, I thrive in an air conditioned room in a leather chair. Like that's my arena. That's how I succeed. It'll be interesting to see someone like, as you and Dale saw, you guys showing me how to shoot. There is no, I don't have my own opinions on things. I'm just like, what do I do? Where do I put my hand? It'll be interesting to see what truly a blank slate, like someone like myself, how do I come out on the other side? I'm very curious to see that.
Tom, you're the perfect candidate for this. Cause let me tell you, I had a guy in my second WETC course, not going to mention his name, had a big chip on his shoulder. MMA, and he shot pistol and he did this and that. And I told him, I said, look, that's great. That's fantastic. But you need to listen to what I'm telling you. If you don't want to do what I'm telling you when the shit hits the fan, that's on you. He was very difficult to train on the range because he had all these bad habits. And I don't have time to unscrew a bad habit and then catch you up. You either listen and do what I'm saying. I'm moving on. I got 12 other students. I can't So someone like you is perfect because you have no preconceived notions. You're not going to go like this one. Well, that's not what my grandfather told me, and he was in the Coast Guard. And I'm like, well, what direct action units in the Coast Guard? And you know what I mean? Like it's just, but you get the ego thing,
Yeah.
right? And that takes time up in the class. No time for that. I tell people day one, park your ego at the door, listen to what I tell you. At the end of the course, you either use the stuff or not. But trust me when I tell you, what I'm teaching works. I know it works because I've used it. And it's very logical and it's simplistic. And as you know, when the shit's hitting the fan, things that are complicated tend to break down,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Absolutely.
And that's the way this course is built. It's built. It's a combative mindset through the entire course. It's meant for the shit's hitting the fan. Something went down, EMP, whatever. The world has gone to complete shit. You know, the UFOs are attacking, which that's another thing. Don't even get what these all this UFO shit going on, right? But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's for that. It's for the worst case scenario. I'm going to give it to you on a silver platter, and you're going to shelf it and hopefully practice. But when you need it, it's just like taking that deliberate assault plan, you know, boop, and you plug it right in, and you're good to go. Mm-hmm. It's no emergency. Oh shit, what do I do now? I'm going to tell you what to do, mm-hmm. you know. And it's very, dude, I cut all the fat off of it, Tom. I get right to the point.
It's yeah, it's something like it'd be like if Joe Rogan offered like a podcast masterclass and I went to it. Like, yeah, I'm gonna have a big chip on my shoulder. I'm gonna be like, well, I do it this way, and eventually it's gonna be like, dude, that's fine. This isn't for you.
Right.
But so last week or 2 weeks ago, I had on Bing West, who wrote General Mattis's biography with him.
Yes.
And he's wrote several books. He's gonna come back on here. What I loved about General Mattis's quotes, some of which have stuck with me, if you have not read hundreds of books, you're functionally illiterate. And with that one, he went in though, and he was talking about I think it was Desert Storm, or it was something where he was working up, and he had something where he made a mistake, and like someone else basically they kind of had to come bail him out.
Sure.
And the guy above him came up to him and said, like, do your homework. And he handed him a book written by some like Roman general from like 2,000 years ago. And General Mattis was like, what do I need? Why do I need this? What is this? This isn't, it's the year, it's the year right. 2000, whatever.
Right.
And the guy told him, he was like, we are the warring ape. Like, we've been doing this since we could stand up on two legs.
Yeah.
At the end of their lives, historical figures, most notably war legends, generals, they tend to write books where they consolidate their life experience down into a couple hundred pages.
Sure.
You as an individual you can live the most fantastically colored life. It is still such a tiny scope of human experience that you are illiterate. If I can learn Maryland upside down and backwards, but if I don't get a map when I'm driving somewhere, it's retarded. Right. What the guy said, what General Mattis goes on to say is, if you're not reading all of these people from Napoleon to Alexander the Great, if you're not reading from them and distilling out what they have, you're not using every weapon in your arsenal.
That's right.
So why am I saying all that? It ties into what you're doing. To me, it's why wouldn't I'm 30. I do a podcast. This is what I'm doing. I'm never going to be in some secret unit. Why would I not go and get what's been distilled from your career into 3 days?
And Tom, it's so funny. I want to show you, right. And you'll see this when you get to the course. The first thing I talk about when I open up my book, what is that there?
The Art of War. Okay.
Bro, it's the first thing I talk about. And what I say is almost like what you said. It doesn't talk about weapons. Sun Tzu never talked about choice of weapons. He talks about strategy and tactics. That's it. Mm-hmm. And it's a great book, and it's something I read. I mean, my copy is literally falling apart. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I agree with you 100%. I think there's lessons to be learned from all these fantastic leaders and tacticians of the past. You don't have to use it all, but man, there's some gold nuggets. And I tell people when you get to the Wetsy, you know, if you don't own a copy of this book, shame on you. It's $7 on Amazon. Go freaking buy one.
Okay,
and read it. Well, so yeah, you're absolutely right.
I need to get one then.
Yeah, oh, dude, it's a must have. I mean, I apply, dude, there's so much strategy, business strategy that Sun Tzu gets into if you just kind of flip the switch that I have applied in my businesses. And let me tell you, man, it has saved the day a few times. No
Well,
doubt about it.
well,
So
it's I mean, another thing from General Mattis was is apparently when we first invaded Iraq in '03, you know, someone said to him something about like, well, you know, we're doing like the best we could, and Mattis said if Alexander the Great came to present day, and someone was like, he wouldn't know what to do, and General Mattis goes, he would run this show. It would take him. You'd have to give him a crash course on like tanks and electronics, but he goes, he would master it and he would take over the entire Middle East because it's all tactics. And one thing that you have told me, and I always forget what it stands for, but PACE. I know it's primary something something emergency.
primary, alternate, contingency, emergency, and we get into that in the course.
Well, what I
We get
want
into
to
that.
say is it's not just what happens when you're downrange. Okay, so what's downrange for me? It's a
Right
podcast.
there. Yeah, man.
What do I do every morning? And I've only been doing it
Yeah.
for the last couple months or so because it has happened to me where I have a big guest coming on and like you said, you're teeing it up for Murphy. Whenever I have a
Yep.
big guest coming on, you're
Yep.
goddamn right the internet cuts out that morning. So every morning I come on beforehand. I check everything and
There
I
you
have my
go.
primary and secondary internet. I have 2
There you
webcams.
go.
I have 4 lights. I only need 2.
There you go.
But that's a microcosm of where this is applicable. And for someone like
Oh, it's totally
yourself,
applicable. 100%, man.
someone like yourself, you learned to be a stockbroker. Like you
Yeah.
passed all. So it's not just, oh, it's only applicable downrange. No, man, you were studying in Vegas. Like
Yeah.
you did all this shit.
Dude, all of this stuff is applicable. And granted, you know, you can get into, you know, the carbine pistol stuff. That's one thing.
Sure.
But like when you talk about leadership and pace and doing green teams, and like I have done speaking engagements in front of like literally the vice presidents and directors of a big company and said, who here has heard of a green team event? And nobody rose their hand. Now, these are people that are like been in business, very successful people. And we're going to talk about this. What is a green team? And it's absolutely applicable in business. 100%. 100%. And we did it a few times when I was in Afghanistan on really high profile missions where it's like this cannot not go wrong. Like, and you use a green team and it works. It's great. So yeah, man, I'm real proud of the course. It's taken a lot. It's morphed. And you get let me just tell you, if you don't get 15 or 20 gold nuggets to put in your tactical toolbox, like I'll give you your money back. Like there's so much in it. And I've ran it by other people, like, hey, what do you think about this? You know, smarter men than me. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? And I've washed it, and the course is only getting better. And but it's very intensive. And I will tell that the people that are listening, you're not coming to the wet seat of camp.
Yeah.
You're not here to talk about war stories with Joe, or did Cody not wear shoes? No, he didn't wear fucking shoes. You're here to train. Okay. You're here to train. You're giving me your hard-earned money. My fiduciary responsibility to you is to give you the most bang for your buck. And trust me when I tell you, if you go to SpartanAmericana.com, just read some of the testimonials and look at some of the videos. This one guy actually, he was like talking really great. And he says, well, there is one regret that I had. And I'm like, oh shit. He goes, I wish I would have brought my wife.
Fuck yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, as a matter of fact, your course, dude, there are several women in the course, like pretty hardcore. So for the ladies that are watching, this isn't just a guy course.
Yeah.
This is for men and women. You have a shower, separate showers, separate sleeping quarters, food's included. All you got to do is show up.
Yeah.
You'll have a packing list with some basic shit, and everything else is provided.
Yeah.
Everything. I wanted people to be able to get here literally with a backpack. You know, and if you want to bring some extra food, I would, you know, most people bring like a cooler because, you know, you may have some things you like to eat, but you get 3 meals a day. But it's in a stunning location, absolutely breathtaking location. Eagles flying around, and every now and then you'll see a C-130 or C-141 because of the airfield real close by, just flying right across the treetops and shit. It's awesome, dude. It's awesome. it is the shit place to train. And I'm very blessed to be able I rent the entire facility. Just an FYI for those who are listening, it's 1,000 acres. The people that own it and what they do there, it's kind of an all or none. I can't be there when it's being used, and when I'm there, I rent the whole thing. So it's like a locked down situation. There's gates.
Fuck yeah.
Once you're in, the gate shuts behind you, and that's it. It's pretty cool. It's like being in isolation.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah,
Fuck
you'll
yeah.
dig it. And it's going to be beautiful, Tom. The weather's going to be fantastic. It's going to be gorgeous. If it rains, the classroom's inside. If it does rain, the stuff we do outside will dry quickly. I will tell you that the first course, when it was in October, we had the one day, it was Sunday. It was freezing rain, man, and I'm telling you, it was brutal, but they sucked it up, and that's one thing I'll tell you. There is no cancellation for inclement weather.
Fuck yeah. Oh, of course. That's someone like yourself. That's the last thing you'd give a shit about.
Yep. If it's raining, it's raining.
Yeah.
You'll get wet, and bring a rain jacket if you're worried about melting.
Yeah.
But,
so we'll wrap this up in like 2 minutes.
yeah, man.
Well, I was gonna say first, but isn't that like I look back at like the first podcasts, and then I look at like 100 and 200, and I look where I am now, and then I look where I'm always looking ahead. Do you find that with the Wet Sea course just already, there is something beautiful about working on one thing over a long period of time that like really only you can appreciate?
Sure.
Where it's just, you just sculpt it in the tiniest ways. Do you find that? Are you finding just little tweaks and stuff that you can only find through repetition?
Dude, literally, last night I was sitting here and I actually flip-flopped the course, some of the modules, because the way it flowed was a little clumsy. So in the way I'm leading people into the next module, it makes more sense the way I'm doing it now. And so, yeah, I love that, man. The devil's in the details, dude. You know that, and I don't know anybody that has a 3-day course that said, well, I hit the home run on the first one, I'm not changing it. Well, that first off, it's pretty fucking arrogant to say that. Secondly, you're not striving for perfection. And as we both know, perfection is a moving target. You never hit it. And you're always trying to make it better for the next. How can I do this better? How can I support it better? What can I bring to the table? Visual aids wise, like there's something I'm bringing this course that I didn't bring the last one, visual aid that will help drive home a point for one of the modules. So yeah, man, I love it, man. I love making it better and better and better. And, I guess that's one of the I'm a perfectionist like you, man. You want it to be as best you can. We're like our own worst enemy, but I wouldn't want it any other way. I wouldn't want it. I want it that way. I don't want to ever sit back and go, it's good enough.
Well, I tell people, I think the most miserable day of my life was the day I got into medical school, because I was like, well, now what? I was like, I don't know. I'm not working towards something. I was like, I don't want to fucking do this. And there is no, I don't think there's any, I think it is bliss. I think it's nirvana on earth to find an impossible goal and to devote yourself to it every day. To me, that is just, there's no greater peace than.
Dude, I watched an interview with Elon Musk the other day, and I got to tell you, the more I read about this guy, the more respect I have for him.
Oh yeah.
Dude, do you know that this guy, during PayPal, he was literally sleeping on somebody's couch. And I actually even say he was in a garage sleeping at one point in time in his life. And, he made a bunch of money at PayPal. And then literally, I think he said he made 180 million. He actually threw the number out there and then took that and started Tesla. Right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And he said, several times it almost failed, but it was because he kept tweaking and tweaking and tweaking. And that was, now look at the guy, he's got SpaceX and, just made, $100 million in Bitcoin. But here's a guy who don't need to work. I mean, give me a fucking break. But he said, when you find that, just like you just said, when you find that thing that is not work to you, He was talking about his schedule. Like he flies to the Tesla manufacturing plant for 2 days. Then he flies to SpaceX. And he flies back. I mean, the guy works 7 days a week because he says he loves it. But he also said in the same voice, no one should work that hard. Like he works 100-hour weeks, but that's just who the guy is. And that's why he's also successful. But if you find something that you really love to do, it's not work.
It's give yourself to it. You just give yourself
exactly.
to it. You don't look at the end date. You don't want it to end. It's
Right.
You just give yourself to it.
Yeah.
Real quick, we'll wrap this up.
Yes, sir.
What does WETC stand for? You told me once before. And I forgot.
Warriors Edge Training Course.
Beautiful. Okay. And SpartanAmericana.com.
Yes, sir. Yep,
Okay,
you go there, and if anybody's interested, you has everything on there. It's got some testimonials, what the course is about, kind of. I don't give it away, obviously, because everything's actually proprietary. And my manual, everything that's the manual that it's actually on the Facebook page, it's all proprietary. Yeah, man, I'm really stoked that you guys are coming. We'll have a good time. And just because you're my friend, if you think I'm going to go easy on your fucking ass, I'm actually going to turn the screws harder on you and the other guys that are coming.
Oh, I know.
Okay.
I know
I know, Joe. Well, yeah, you do.
I know.
But I'm going to give you your money's worth, especially this one module. Oh, yeah.
Well, guys, there you have it. The podcast will be finished in August because there'll be bagpipes playing at my funeral. And you'll have to go up to my mom at my funeral and say, he deserved it. And my mom will say, I know. He's an asshole.
I will tell you, Tom, I will tell you this. The one module, I'm not going to lie, I have on every course so far had grown men crying, not all of them. And one individual peed themselves.
Well, I think I'll be the first to shit myself. So.
No, you won't. And dude, and I'm not bragging about it.
Yeah.
It's just you're not ever going to be put in a situation like I am going to put you in on purpose.
Sure.
No way.
Sure.
I don't care who you are, what your background is. I'm going to put you in a situation, and the entire learning point will be don't ever get stuck in this situation, because this is just a taste of what's going to happen to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'll stick in your head because it wasn't comfortable. It was a little painful, but you'll never forget it. And you'll be like, oh yeah, now I know why I don't want to be walking around my head up my ass in condition white when I should be in condition yellow, because this is what can happen when you're in the wrong place at the wrong time. You've had it. Once you get into the situation I put you in, you're done. You're done.
Yeah.
You've had it. There's no getting out of it. You might as well try to escape and just get shot in the back, because that might be the easy way out. So,
yeah.
But it is an amazing, every single person that's been through that module said, I won't do that again. But wow.
Yeah.
It was the one guy said, I would have paid twice what you charged just for that.
Jesus. Yeah, well, yeah, it's right. It's sweat lost while training.
That's right.
Is blood not lost while fighting, or whatever the fuck the saying is.
The more you sweat in peace, the less you bleed more.
Well, of course, Joe knows that. Well, Mr. Ted-Eye, Joe Ted-Eye.
Hey, dude, I like your background, by the way. I want to tell you all your those
sound panels.
Sound reducing. Yeah, that's cool, dude.
Yeah, man. Well, it's like I said, dude. Just I'm always tweaked. That's what we're doing today. What I said, I'm trying a new recording. It's always.
Well, no, you sound different too. Like when you first started, there was a little bit of an echo. You sound very crisp right now talking to me. I like it. It's very simplistic with the flag, of course. But yeah, dude, that looks really, really cool, man.
Thank you, man. Well, that's like I said earlier. That's the whole always tweaking. As soon as I get to here, I'm like, this is great. How do I improve it?
You actually look like you know what the hell you're doing now.
I kind of look like I'm not just in a cave in a Bodabad, right? Just screaming. Joe Ted-Eye, author of Lone Operator. It'll be in the description, as well as Spartan Americana. And for all the ladies, I'm not going to give you his contact information. Please stop messaging me. That's a legitimate thing. I'm not going to give it to you. I'm not being funny.
No.
Stop emailing me. I'm not going to give it to you. All right. If I did, I would sell it, but I don't have any bidders. Joe, I love you, brother. Thanks for coming on here, man.
Thanks,
God
Tom.
bless America. Everybody, go get his book. Go check out Spartan Americana. I will be there in August. and
Yes, sir.
I may or may not die. So
I hope so.
stay tuned. All right, big dog. I'll see you,
Thanks,
man.
man. Cheers.
Later, buddy. Peace.